We are up here and we're just admiring the children, you know, just kind of sitting there in the driveway looking all cute. Anyhow, guys, I am back up here with Bob Scott, Bruce, and Leanne Stanley, and we did a video up here with Danny the night that, you know, I spent the night at the cabin at Randall McCoy's old place. And unfortunately our video got corrupted when I got back home. Everything else was fine except for this one little piece of video. So we're going to reshoot this video. Anyhow, what's the deal with this big rock here? Okay. What is this?
This rock has been here, we know, over 100 years on the property. And as I said to different people, my mom this December will be dead 23 years. And she said that her brothers and sisters and all of her family always remembered this rock being on this property here. This rock set probably about 150 feet originally from where it's at now. My dad and one of my brothers moved it down here in probably the late 70s out there to almost the hillside. And about 27 years ago, Mom, when she first started getting sick, she wanted the rock brought closer to the house, and me and one of my nieces moved the rock to where it's at today. And as long as I can remember, my mom said that when Julius and Polly Scott was a young couple, I don't know if it was 1 year
now, hold up. Who is Julius and Polly Scott now?
Okay, Julius and Polly Scott was...
This is interesting as why.
was my mom's mother and dad. And Polly's mother and father was Anderson and Polly Hatfield from across the hill.
Right.
And this rock and one more was sitting in their front yard for X amount of years. And when Julius and Polly was a young couple, this was always told that it was brought by horse and sled across the hill to my grandfather and grandmother's house that's next door here.
Right.
And the rock has been on the property. My kids, my grandkids, my brothers, my sisters, all of their family and kids.
Myself.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say Bob's been in there when he was a toddler.
Been brought up around the rock. And we've asked, what did you use that rock for? And it was used for the gardens. It was used for
washing vegetables,
cleaning the food to put on the table. It was washing the clothes, bathing off in it.
Taking a bath, gotta water the horses.
Yes. And it was even to tie your horse up and get up on him.
Yeah.
And
this stood outside. This is I showed you guys up there where Preacher Ance's cabin is, up on the hill there, the old washstand.
All four here all about.
It has the description. Go right ahead.
All right. Carved from solid blocks of sandstone, this outdoor wash stands in one of them, which were made by Robert Uncle Bob Hatfield, 1879 1956. Older brother Ransom, the sandstone was most likely the quarry, is located on the right side of Hatfield Branch, just west of Anderson Hatfield's home place. The washstand, shaded by large cedar trees, was situated near a well in the front yard of his home place. Well, its principal purpose was a place for the farm workers to wash and prepare themselves for dinner.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is supposedly the mate to it, more or less.
It is, and the gentleman that was supposed to carve this out, it tells a little bit about it on YouTube. We found that a lot of them know of him as Robert Hatfield, but a lot of them in this area called him Bob Hatfield. He was Polly's brother.
Right.
And that would have been Preacher Ance's son. Right. He supposedly carved these two rocks out, and one's on the cemetery,
right,
and the other one is here in our backyard.
Now see, I didn't even know about this until the other day.
Yes.
When you mentioned it.
Sure.
When you mentioned
And
it, I did not know about this one.
this was used on this property. Back years ago, the Wranglers would have in July, around the 19th or the 20th every year, they would have a church service on the cemetery, and the Jules Scott Cemetery, and this rock here would be used as washing your hands when you come off the hill. We had our local funeral homes that would put up tents here on the property, and my brother told me last night, he said, Bruce, he said, I know that there was between 250 to 300 people several years that was here at this family
Reunion.
get together.
Yeah.
There's
A
more
church
there's
service.
more lane traffic out there.
And we had, at that time, we had churches from all different denominations that was here, and a lot of singing, and they would do their preaching on the hill and everything, and then
Yeah.
everybody would come off and do dinner and stuff here.
That is really cool.
And it was a yearly thing, and like I said, as my mom got up in age and got sicker, she wanted the rock
Closer
brought
to the house
to
where
the
she could see
house,
it.
that she could look out the door and see it and know it was here.
It meant a lot
And
to her. It meant a lot
she
to her.
was the only one that actually stayed on the Scott property. All the rest of them did move away. She was the only one that ended up living here all her life.
Huh.
And the rock has meant a lot to all our family.
That is amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
It looks like something like the Flintstones, doesn't it? You know, from a Flintstones cartoon?
Yes.
Right.
You know? But I mean, you can see you got the drain over here. You got a little drain.
Right.
We've made a drain right there, and it comes out over here. And the washstand's the same way, ain't it? It's got the drain on the top and comes out the side.
Yes.
So-
And like I told you, I'm sure that there's a lot of stories about this rock out there that we don't know, probably never will know, or haven't heard.
Right.
But if the rock could talk to us, it
Yeah.
could tell us a lot of stories. Because all of my brothers and sisters has up around it, played on it. My grandkids has played on it. A lot of people has came here as actually with small kids. They put them down in the rock
Yeah. To
with
bath 'em.
water or without water
Yeah.
sometimes. Took pictures of them. It is actually, they people has saw it from all over the country.
So were you bathed in it when you were little?
I don't know that.
I know you were, right?
I was, and he probably will be tonight.
Oh, okay. So how old were you when, what's your experience with this rock, Bob? How do you know this rock?
I just remember coming up visiting with my grandfather, Julius, as a young kid, baby. And, you know, you get dirty,
Yeah.
messed up. And Mom would take me out, and the rock would be full of water, and they'd wash me off.
Really?
So that's as clean as I am today.
That is cool.
That's the
isn't it?
last bath I ever had.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is amazingly
Our
cool.
son,
though.
when he was little, he took a mini. In the summertime, he'd want to come out here and play in the rock.
Really?
And like
Really?
I said, I've had nieces and nephews, grandkids. It's fascinating to them. A lot of people come here to visit. We ask them to come in. They say, no, I just want to sit here on the rock for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And they will sit down on the rock. And like I said, it's something that's been in the Scott family
Right.
for many years. We was thinking about it there yesterday. If we just go by my mom's age, it's been in this family of ours that we do honestly know 102 years.
Wow.
If we put her age and how many years
But
she's
it
been dead.
existed before then, though.
Yes.
That's just
The
what.
rock-
Right.
the story we've been told, and like I've said, you know, I guess it's true, but the story that we've been told, it was brought across the hill on a sled, and Julius and Polly was a young couple when they got the rock.
Really.
And her brother did carve the rock out, and that's, you know, we have had documentary on the rock, and it is here today.
That is really
And
cool.
correct me if I'm wrong. I hope you're not going anywhere. I hope I'm not either. But if something happened to Bruce or Leanne, that
Yes.
rock would stay in the family, correct?
Yes. I know my Aunt Fern had questions on that a few years ago before she passed away. She worried about this rock. She was one of the daughters. She was the baby of the family. And she told me, she says, if something was to happen, you all decide to move, sell,
Right.
or leave the property, she said, I would like to know that you do one of two things. She says, take the rock to the McCoy well, or take it to the cemetery. She said that's one of the two choices I would like for you to do.
It would look really cool up at Preacher Rance's beside that washstand, wouldn't it? Right beside it.
Now he's
Yes.
referring to the McCoy well side, I think. Randall's, Randall's property.
Down at your house, yes.
Right.
And you're talking about the cemetery here.
Yes.
Oh, you mean this cemetery
This
here,
cemetery
Scott
here.
Cemetery? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
The Jewel Scott Cemetery. And, you know, like I said, in my lifetime, I don't plan on moving it.
Right. Yeah, it
And,
looks heavy.
It's moved this last time for me, and
Yeah.
it's where it's at, and I
Yeah.
don't really think it, you know, just going to come in here and
up and go.
carry it off.
Very unique.
And as I said to my wife this morning, the rock is here. It'll outlast us.
Oh yeah.
It'll
yeah,
be here when
it'll
we're
outlive
gone.
us all,
Well, at
won't it?
least wash your hands while you're here.
Oh yeah. Did it the other day, but I didn't get to keep the video. Here. We do it right. I see you could put cool water in there for me, didn't you?
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh yeah. Jump in there, Bob.
No, I done it once. I mean, I don't really need it. I mean, that's the first bath I ever had, and that's probably the last one I ever had.
I just had a bath 60 years ago. My God.
Quit pushing me.